Hello. Okay. Bear with me one second. Trying to decide. Mm, All right. Trying to think of what day it is. Happy Wednesday. Thank you for being here tonight. It is 8 a.m. on a Wednesday. Kind of late for me, but if I'm being honest. All right. So tonight, I am going to talk about sustainable sourcing of quilting fabric for beginner quilters. So if you're a beginner quilter and you're not sure where to start, you do not need to run out and buy a ton of fabric. It's not necessary to get started. So we're going to go over ways to source it, how I kind of started with hand-me-down stuff. And forgive me, as this is the first time I've ever done a live. So I don't know how all this works yet. So I thought people could leave comments, but I don't see anything that looks like that. Maybe I need to do this. So, first time, we're going to figure it out, right? So that is fine. Okay. All right. So, first thing. So, when I began quilting, my husband and I had 5 kids at home. There wasn't a lot of budget for quilting fabric. I began with a hand-me-down sewing machine for my mother-in-law, which I still have to this day and I love very much. I was actually able to make 8 quilts on that actual Singer sewing machine for Christmas one year. So that's kind of how I started. And if I needed fabric for something, and sometimes I would go to the local Goodwill um, and pick out like curtains or pillowcases are a good one. Sheets are a really good one. I have a really old quilt here that I wanted to share. This is my quilt from when I was a little girl, that my grandma made all by hand. And she used a Sesame Street sheet on the back. My grandma was from Kentucky. They did not have a lot. So she used whatever she had, old clothes. Bed sheets were used for backing a lot in my grandma's quilts. That's literally in pieces. That's how bad it is, how long I've had it and used it. It was well used. So other things, flannel's really good for quilting. So you can do things like I saved my husband's old flannel shirts. He was going to throw this in the trash, and I'm like, I would really like to save that. So I rescued that. This one I might make something other than a quilt. I'm thinking about making those the reusable paper towels with it. So that's kind of what I plan on doing with that. I just really thought I would be able to see comments. Forgive me, guys, because I've never done this before. But, oh well. We'll be good. We learn as we go, right? Speaking of my grandma, I really wanted to share hand-me-down stuff from family members. I've gotten a ton of fabric and some quilt blocks, some pre-cut pieces to make quilt blocks that my mom has given me that belong to some of my aunts who are no longer with us. These are ragged star blocks that my grandma pieced all by hand. And my grandma pieced everything on either phone books, catalogs, Sears catalogs, whatever she had available. This is actually an old phone book from the area where I'm from. And I pulled these, I think there's 6 blocks I pulled out of the ragged stars that my mom gave me because this strawberry fabric is from my strawberry shortcake stuff that my mom would make me when I was little. So these blocks, I have 6 of them. And I've already picked out the background fabric. Oh wait, this one actually has a strawberry shortcake on it. Look at how precious. So this is actually, I was strawberry shortcake for Halloween one year. My mom made my costume. She always made my costumes. So I have all 6 of these, and that was my hopes. Next weekend I'm going off to a quilt retreat, so I'm really hoping to get these made into blocks. So these are very near and dear to my heart. So there's another idea. You know, if you're going to paper piece anything, you don't need to buy fancy paper. Printer paper or, phone books like Grandma did. And my grandma quilted a lot. So you don't have to go out and break your budget to start quilting. Please don't, because it won't be sustainable in the long run for you. Whenever we go, I love to antique, or thrifting as they call it now. I love to see if I can find old fabric. Let me show you the fabric I got last fall. There was an antique booth that we went to in southern Indiana. And it was I was in that booth for probably 30 minutes. Full of fabric. So I got all of these out of there. How beautiful. The mushrooms. Look at that. Oh, I love it. It even smells like somebody's grandma. You know what I mean? Oh, I love it. So I have used this I made 2 mushroom sweatshirts. Like I just hand drew a mushroom shape and appliqued this fabric on there and sold a couple of those. These are some blocks I got in that same antique booth. They're huge. But these I think I'll probably make into pillows, because I think there's only 3 of them. But they're just really pretty. Pretty fabrics. I mean, they're just so gorgeous. And it's older, so you want to be careful when you wash it and stuff. So I would probably make it into pillows or something, decorative ones that people aren't going to necessarily be using all the time. Because I'm not sure how it would wash up. But thrifting old quilt blocks is a great idea. These I got in the same booth. These are actually already quilted. They're really not quilted. It's just front and back. There's no batting in it. I thought these would be kind of fun on a shirt or something. Would be fun. So I got a handful of those that came in. They were all in one bag. Again, just gorgeous, gorgeous fabrics that you just can't find like that. If you find some 30s fabric, that's really good stuff. So other ways, like I said, Goodwill, your local thrift shop, typically people call it quilting cotton. You can make quilts out of different types of fabric. Just depending on what it is, you may need a stabilizer. Like if you're going to make a t-shirt quilt, that needs a stabilizer on the back so that the knit isn't stretching. Or asking family and friends, if you have a friend that's already a quilter, saying, hey, if you ever have scraps, maybe you want to hand them down. The next thing I wanted to talk about was your scraps. Let's backtrack here. So if you're just starting out and you don't want to build a stash, don't. You don't need to break the bank or the budget to start quilting. You can find plenty of used hand-me-down machines. I guarantee you, more times than not, I bet you're going to find somebody in your friend or family circle that has a sewing machine that they're not using. So ask around. You never know. I forget where I was going. Oh, scraps. So if you end up with stuff that you have extra of, or let's not say extra, little cutoffs and stuff like that, what I do is we have a local quilt shop. It's not very far from me that my mom and my cousin go to a lot. So what they do there, wow, they like to collect bags of scraps. And what they do with them is they either give them and they get together and they make dog beds with it as a stuffing. So you can use your scraps as a stuffing or a filler to make floor poofs or dog beds, that kind of thing. What they also do is they work with a women's prison in Indiana. Well, they will send down larger scraps, and I believe that they use it to teach the women to sew, and I believe they make specific things for organizations, but I'm not 100% sure what they do with that. But I will keep a garbage bag right next to my cutting table and just keep filling it up. If I have scraps that I aren't large enough to use in a project, I typically don't keep anything if I can't get a 2.5 inch square out of it. I I have to come to a point where I'm like enough scraps because there's a lot. Although my granddaughter loves to play in my scraps, so you can use your scraps to make other things, pass them down, maybe give them check with your local nursing home, community center, or after school activities. So if there's somebody local does any kind of art where they can use little scraps of fabric, that's a good idea. Uh, and of course, grandkids love playing in scraps. They're good to teach children with on how to sew. My granddaughter is 6, and I put her on the sewing machine. She's actually pretty good at it, so she lets me know that. So I think that's all I have for tonight. Thank you for joining me. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to my channel. Just getting started up, and I'm really looking forward to talking to you guys more. And I hope you have a fantastic evening. So long for now.